Welcome into the final game of the Falcon Classic, day one. This one features the Copper Hills Grizzlies, presented by Jiffy Lube on the Rewind Sports Network. They will take on the Crimson Cliffs Mustangs alongside Trevor Allen, along with Ben Lindquist, Oregon Duck legend, and Crimson Cliffs native, and also general manager of the Fan Sports Network, a proud partner of KSLSports.com. And Ben, we've got a good one here tonight to end the Falcon Classic.
Yeah, Trevor, thanks for having me. I'm really excited. You and I both love high school athletics, and basketball is one of my favorites, so I'm excited to be here. Should be a great matchup tonight.
So tonight features Copper Hills. They've had a few days off. Meanwhile, Crimson Cliffs started last night, started region play.
Yeah, a little bit of a strange thing. I think we saw this last year where they condensed the high school season, but Crimson will play 4 straight games this week, and then they'll play 2 next week, so they're going to play 6 games in 10 days.
Hey, as a hooper, that is your dream.
No, that's the best thing. No practice, just go out and hoop.
Yeah, it's kind of like the NBA schedule, it seems like. But we'll go ahead and go through the starting lineups first for the designated road team, which is the Crimson Cliffs Mustangs. They'll go number 1, senior Sands Reed. Number 3, senior Will Hokinson. Number 22, senior, that's Britton Phillips. Number 24, McKay Lindquist, a senior, and a senior, number 31, Travis Murdoch. The head coach is Scott Murdoch in his 3rd season. He has 33 wins and 22 losses in his career. And then for Copper Hills, they'll go this way. Number 2, Isaiah Reiser, senior. Number 5, Joe Herrera, who's also a senior. Number 10, senior Daniel Johnson. Number 13, senior Logan Batt. And number 31, Jacob Curtis, a senior. So the one matchup I'm looking forward to is the guy who has your last name, McKay Lindquist, against Isaiah Reiser.
Going to be a really interesting matchup. Reiser's kind of their do-everything. He's the leading scorer in Copper Hills high school basketball history. And I started since he was a freshman. Great athlete, quick handle, can flat out shoot it. It's going to be a great matchup between 2 really high-powered teams, I think.
Yeah, you've got Crimson Cliffs, who was picked to finish 3rd in the Region 9 preseason coaches poll put out by the Deseret News. And Copper Hills in 6A Region 2, which is stacked. You've got Bingham, you've got Harriman, among others. And so the tip, as Copper Hills is in the white uniforms, and Crimson Cliffs is in the red. And the ball tipped out of bounds by Copper Hills. Then Crimson Cliffs will have possession. Here's Murdoch. Drives into the paint, and Curtis falls on the floor. He's holding the back of his head, and they're saying it's white ball. And that's not a good sign. That's the 3rd leading scorer, and one of only 2 starters back from last season. Yeah,
you hate to see anybody go down, especially this early in the game. It looks like they've just kind of hit knees, and he might have then ended up gotten twisted up, and it looked like he might have hit his head there at the end. But in fact, Crimson has got a player, Trey Leroy, who is in concussion protocol, from what I understand.
Oh man!
From a similar kind of contact, hit the back of the head. It's just so hard when you get your legs twisted and you don't have a chance to brace yourself, but I certainly hope he's okay.
Yeah, and that's, 2 bigs going at it, and 6 seconds into the game, you hate to see that. Hopefully he's okay, but, in the early going, Ben, Crimson tested early, played Wasatch at home. I think it was in that Coach Walker Classic.
Yeah, it was down there in a tournament. It was actually at Crimson, that game. And they've been a little bit up and down. They got 2-1 right out of the gate, and then they went up to Logan for a big tournament up there and kind of struggled. They won their first game. Then against Ridgeline, they had an opportunity. They missed 11 free throws. That'll be certainly something you want to watch tonight. They missed 11 free throws in a 3-point ball game, and you just can't do that. And then they ended up on a Saturday in the Spectrum, ended up losing 40-39. Yes, that's not a halftime score. That is a end-of-game score. And it was on a buzzer beater, airballed, kind of the NC State airball, and flipped it up at the buzzer and won by 1 against or lost by 1 to Skyview. And so they were able to get the win last night, their first region game in Region 9 at Cedar City. And this is certainly one where they're going to be tested tonight because Copper Hills just has such great guard play and shooting.
And Curtis is coming out of the game.
Holding his neck, I think maybe. Yeah, hopefully it's just a sore neck, not concussion.
But we play on. Hopefully he's okay. Here's Herrera. Now to Reiser. Isaiah comes off a screen by Johnson. Goes into the corner to Logan Batt. Loses control. Fell on and collected, and here comes Crimson Cliffs. Here's Murdoch. To Lindquist. McKay backs it out, guarded by Reiser. We want to see this matchup. McKay comes around a screen. Now goes into the post. Up and out by Phillips. And now it's taken away by Reed. Reed to Hokinson. Back out to Phillips. Now in the corner is Hokinson for three. Can't get that one to go. Logan Batt on the rebound.
A couple good looks early, some offensive rebounding, but certainly going to have to make some baskets against Copper Hills.
As Talon Harrison, who checked in for Johnson, he gets the layup to go. And that's our first score of the game. A kick out and a blocking foul as Murdoch gets tangled up with Logan Batt.
And Murdoch is kind of he's the foul merchant. He can draw contact.
Is he like the James Harden of Region 9?
The SGA version.
SGA,
he can draw contact. He goes head down, bull in the china shop, and usually it works out.
And great play there. Confusing Copper Hills, and the layup goes for Murdoch. Now here's Herrera. Harrison. He'll drive in, lay it up, and good. What a reverse layup there with the scoop.
And this has really been something that Crimson struggled with, is keeping the defender or keeping the offender in front of them because of their penetration off the dribble.
Reiser goes out ahead. Kick in the corner to Talon Harrison, no good. And here come the Mustangs with Lindquist. Now to Murdoch. Can't get that one to go. And Herrera out and running. Logan Batt saves it. Now to Reiser. So far, not really any looks for Reiser at the rim.
Well, and Crimson will throw a little bit of zone like they just did the first couple possessions. Now they're back into a little bit of a man, and they got mixed up on the ball screen there for an easy pass off the pick and roll.
Daniel Johnson is the beneficiary of that one.
And really so far, just easy baskets for Copper Hills, where Crimson has got good looks. It just hasn't knocked anything down.
Now Reed. Herrera takes it away from him. Now to Logan Batt. To Johnson. He'll lay it up and swatted away there by Phillips.
Britton Phillips played on the Crimson football team as well. A great athlete. He was a receiver, has some looks there. And they only had him back for about 3 days of practice before the season started.
Yeah, making a deep playoff run.
Yeah.
Was the Mustangs in football, as they do every year, as Jacob Curtis to Reiser. He'll fire it up, and good. He looked like he had maybe some contact. I mean, to me, it didn't look like it from our angle, but a great shot.
You just see how good he is off the ball screen and off the dribble with the shot as Lindquist goes in, misses a little bit of a chipper there.
Curtis throws it ahead, but great defense there by Phillips. Now Lindquist wide open, don't want to leave him open. But Murdoch tips it up and in. Great awareness there by Travis. And just we're just running out. This is like the All-Star game right now.
It feels a little like an All-Star game there. You hate to see fast break transition on a made basket if you're a head coach.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep it right here. 4:35 to go here in the first quarter. 10-4, Copper Hills with the lead. I mean, as you said, Crimson Cliffs is getting good looks, just not able to knock them down. They've had a couple of bunnies, really, but Copper Hills is out and running.
Yeah, other than the riser jumper down here for Copper Hills, they've got everything at the rim, those easy layups. And again, as a head coach of any sport, you're sitting there going, just keep the guy in front of you guys. Come on, we can't give layups all night.
And so the winner of this game will play tomorrow at 6:30 against Skyridge. The loser will play at 4:50 against Mountain View. Now, normally you would look at it and be like, okay, a 6A Copper Hills against a 6A, but don't discredit a 4A team, especially from Region 9.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think that's more just geography as opposed to school size. A lot of bigger, schools up here, but down south, that's just too far to travel if you were to put them all together.
Reed for three. No good. Offensive rebound by Murdoch, and he's got all the points here
And already you can see the offensive rebounding for Crimson's been a little bit of a factor there.
Reiser, he'll stop and pop deep too, but that's an air ball. You don't see that very often from a kid like
no,
Isaiah
everything
Reiser.
looked good. His release, his move, his load, he got the space he needed.
And now Eli Mulford will come in, who's number 12. He's a sophomore. And then number 15, that's Cameron Wilson, the junior. Lindquist looking for it in the post. Now they go to Phillips in the corner. Now to Reed. He'll drive. Kick out. Phillips for three. Too strong on that one, and Mulford on the board.
And really, you've seen early three-point looks where Copper Hills hasn't shot a single one. They've been so effective inside, and I think for Crimson to stay in the game, they're going to have to do the same thing, get those inside looks.
And that's 2 air balls in a row, but from 2 different players is Logan Batt. Can't get the three-pointer. Lindquist all the way to the cup, and he gets his first 2 of the game.
Great use of the left hand there, but Crimson is, for the last couple of years, they've been so good in transition. The thing about getting in transition, you got to get stops on defense to get there.
Did he learn that move from you?
No, I don't. I was a lefty, but he likes to use the left. He's a right-hand dominant guy, but he was able to use it there.
Now Reed will come out of the game as they called a foul on Hokinson on that play.
And they'll sub in Easton back. They've kind of had this fifth starter rotation for most of the game. I don't think they've had the starting lineup maybe more than once the whole season. Uh-oh.
Reiser wide open for three. He didn't
leave
airball
that guy
one.
open. That's like a layup for him. You know, you get him wide open with that much space, and it might as well just go the other way and put 3 points up there.
And that's a Ken Garf Honda downtown three-pointer by Isaiah Reiser. The first one of the night. And a foul.
And that's the thing, too, with the shooter. You know, you let a guy like that, he had the air ball, but you let him see it go in a couple of times, and you just worry about what happens next.
A reminder that Copper Hills Basketball on the Rewind Sports Network is brought to you by Jiffy Lube. Now here's Murdoch on short corner. Phillips again for three. Can't get that one to go. It seems like whenever it's a three-pointer, the lid is shut.
Yeah.
But whenever it's offensive boards, it's wide open.
Yeah, they've been doing a good job on the offensive boards, but, you just want to settle in. Like, you notice the difference down here on that shot there. It was just wide open in rhythm. It feels like Crimson's just trying to make it go in instead of shooting it in.
And a steal here by, that was Cameron Wilson. Couldn't get that one to go, and Lindquist, he'll float it up off the glass and in. Back-to-back buckets for McKay Lindquist.
And kind of a 4-point swing there, Trev. I mean, an easy layup, and then they come down, they get a bucket there. And maybe a turnover here as Reiser's able to save him and get him out of that.
Such a nose for the ball as Reiser pulls up at the foul line. And now there's
looks
a
like
foul
they're going to call
on
it
Copper
down
Hills.
low, yeah.
It looks like a loose ball foul. I believe it's on number 20.
Maybe on
That's
Logan
number
Batt
21.
there. No, that's
Lucas Laranda, who just checked in. He picks up the personal. So a 3-point lead now. As it looked like Copper Hills might be pulling away from this, but a couple of buckets from Lindquist has kept him in the game. Phillips goes to Lindquist. He'll drive, and then he'll back out to Murdoch. 19 on the shot clock. Pull-up jumper. Rolls in there. That is Will Hokinson, and he gets on the board.
And a little bit of a run here for Crimson. Just a 1-point game now, 13-12. Looked like you said they were about to kind of run away with it. Funny how momentum comes back and forth.
Especially at the high school level.
And you're going to see Crimson do some junk defenses. They're going to have to do whatever they can to get out of Reiser's hands.
You probably want to keep it out of Mulford's hands as well, as he's a second wing scorer, but he is a Mulford, which means he can shoot the ball.
It's bred in the DNA of a Mulford.
And Reiser goes off the glass, and Reiser's almost automatic at the free throw line.
Well, and the thing is you got to keep him off his dominant hand. I mean, he's obviously a skilled dribbler, but you know that he wants to go to that right bounce, make him go left, chase a guy at him, get it out of his hands, make the other guys beat you on a night like this.
And Reiser, that one rolls in.
Almost gave him the announcer's curse there, Trevor. I mean, it was.
I know, saying he's automatic. Yeah, on the year, we'll see if this one works. Coming into this game, 86% from the foul line.
I mean, then that's
19 of 22. And he gets that one to go without any issue.
Yeah, 15-12 now, and looks like we might have a ball game after all.
It's been pretty solid throughout the day as we're game number 4 of our quadruple header. Lindquist, deep 2 off the front of the rim, and Mulford gets the rebound. And it'll dump down to Logan Batt, and he misses the layup. And now in transition, now they back out. Lindquist looking for the 3. Now kicks to Murdoch, who also looks for the 3. Now he goes in, does like the Euro step, try to split through 2 defenders, and he still gets fouled.
Like I said, that's his 3rd drawn foul right there. He just has a knack for kind of using his body to create that contact.
6 minutes and 57 seconds into this one, he's already picked up 3.
He's drawn 3 fouls,
yeah, drawn
right?
3 fouls. But this is his first trip to the foul line. He gets that one to go. I know there's a lot of Crimson Cliffs fans that are tuning in that know what happened last year, winning the region and then going into the playoffs and having a big lead against Pineview and just couldn't quite make it to the quarters.
Yeah, still, I know these kids, a lot of them still talk about that as Murdoch knocks down the second of the 2, but certainly something they think about in those 3rd or 4th quarters where they want to finish those games off.
Now here's Reiser as we're under a minute to go here in the first quarter. Harrison, who just checked in. He'll go back out to Reiser, 19 on the shot clock. Goes off a ball screen. Goes into the paint. He'll throw it up. Lindquist gets the rebound. And there's about 4-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock. Lindquist doesn't care. He'll fire a 3 and knock it down. McKay Lindquist.
And he is a jump shooter. But I think that, sometimes as a coach you go, wow, okay, maybe we get a little bit easier shot, but the 3s, especially when they're not going in, but sometimes, Trevor, they go in.
Yep. And now the hole for the last shot. Murdoch will bring it out. 13 seconds to go. See what they do here. They're spacing the floor with Murdoch in the high post.
Expect to see a high ball screen here, and
he's
Lindquist
got it right
does not
there.
look like he wants to give it up. This is a tough shot.
Good defense there by Isaiah Reiser.
And he looks gassed. The other thing we don't talk about is the altitude. A little bit more altitude up here than down in southern Utah, Trevor.
Yeah, it's also a lot colder up here, too, although it wasn't today.
Yeah, it's 50 degrees. It's golfing weather.
Exactly. Now, we'll keep it right here. Normally, whenever I'm flying solo, I'm going to take a break, for a minute. But I've got Ben here with me. And so, as you look at it, Crimson, I also coach at the high school level.
Yeah, sure.
And something I noticed is that, so we ended up playing Wasatch, and I watched the film where he had a big game, McKay did.
Yeah, he did. I kind of called it the kissing sister game. He had 30 points, but when you score 30 and you lose, you're still getting a kiss, but it's your sister. That doesn't count.
Yeah.
But, he is an explosive scorer. He's a great jump shooter. He's got a great mid-range game. And I know something that Coach Murdoch and the staff, and I know for him even personally, one of the things he really wants to focus on is being consistent this year. And great players do that. You look at a guy like Isaiah Reiser, that's a guy who's been so consistent for the last 4 years as the leading scorer of Copper Hills. But it's a great Crimson team. That Region 9 down there this year is going to be so competitive. You've got Hurricane, who had a couple of down years, maybe 3 or 4 down years. They're really competitive. You've got Desert Hills, you've got Snow Canyon, who's better this year, but you've got Dixie and Pineview. It's going to be, I think, a 4-team race for the top of that region.
And Copper Hills will have the ball coming out of the break as they're down by 2. Reiser to Curtis. He'll go into the paint against Murdoch, puts it off the glass and in. Jacob Curtis, great job getting to the rim.
Again, another basket at the hoop. Other than that wide open Reiser 3, everything's just come right at the hoop.
Now kick out to Murdoch, and he'll dump it down to number 15. That's Baden Cottom, who just checked in.
And Baden's a young guy, a junior, who's got some extended minutes last night. They played last night, Trevor, against Cedar City, their first region game. This will be their second of 4 in a row.
It's going to be a long week for these guys, but you'd rather have games than practices, right? And a 3 there by Hokinson.
Force there. Great hustle, though. Another offensive rebound by Baden.
Caught him. And then a triple, no good. Caught him again. back-to-back offensive rebounds.
And you see the Crimson staff over there saying, get it inside. Throw it to him on the block.
And you've got a mismatch with Murdoch on Harrison. He'll step back, fade away, and nothing there as Jacob Curtis collects. Here comes Reiser, weaving through traffic, now to Harrison. He'll fire for three. Good. Talon Harrison with another Ken Garf Honda downtown three.
It's funny how often it happens when you see a bad shot and then it comes down and a team makes a three or a big play. You always talk about getting A or B shots. You don't want to get C's. You don't want to get D's. I know we both coached a lot and we love basketball, but, that's one of the things that I always preach and the coaches I've coached with preach is that whole idea of, hey, guys, we want A's and B pluses. We can always get C's. We can always get D's. But if we're shooting high-quality shots consistently, we'll always be in a better position.
And now Lindquist to trigger. Good pass down low to Phillips, who's back into the game, but taken away by Curtis. Good defense there by the big man. Now here's Reiser. One-on-one with Reed.
Got to stay connected to him here, Trevor.
Now to Curtis. He'll put it up and in. Curtis bucket and the foul. And that one's going to be called on Easton back.
Yeah, we obviously didn't have a good angle at it, but those are hard ones.
Yeah.
Where.
Hey, I've said it on broadcasts that I've done. There's a reason why I don't officiate anymore. I did it for 5 years. There's a reason why I don't do it anymore.
No, and I'll tell you, part of it's the parents, part of it's the fans who just make it so hard on these guys. They're not getting paid $500 a game. Most of these guys are walking out of there with a 50 in their pocket. It's just at the freshman and the sophomore level, so hard to find good officials right now.
It really is.
And they're really debating this one too, Trevor. They're down here trying to figure out, okay, is it maybe who's the foul on?
Well, I guess it depends on when the contact was. I didn't think there was much contact there unless it was on the backside with Easton back. And they're going to say no bucket and the foul. Yeah,
he kept saying he kind of armbarred it, but maybe the other ref had just a little bit.
Did they say
no basket? I don't know. Is he called an offensive foul? We're trying to get the PA
announcer. Unfortunately, we don't get the benefit of a referee walking to our broadcast position and telling us what happened.
Not up here. Well, I didn't
even see a signal.
No. And the coach, hey, we're not the only ones. The head coach is down here. He's like, well, explain this one to me.
Yeah, Brian Alfrey is.
We ran a great pick and roll, a slip screen.
And he's a little more animated, and Brian Alfrey is not usually the type of coach who does that. So I'm guessing that they didn't count the bucket.
No, they did not.
And up and good there by Phillips. So that's kind of a momentum swing there.
Yeah, another kind of 4-point play. You could argue it's the second one of the game. Crimson takes their first lead of the game, 21-20 here. Got to find Reiser, I think, to get something going.
Yeah, Reiser has it. Now to Curtis. Looking back door. He had Herrera. He just turned his back as he went back door. Now here's Harrison. LaRonda puts it off the glass. This time the bucket and the foul. But LaRonda, instead of Curtis this time, will go to the free throw line.
Well, and you can see Crimson's trying to meet that screen and switch it high. But that means you have to meet that screen and jump to the basketball on the pass. And that weak side guy has to know that the action is a slip at that point. And they've got that now 3 times. This time it's going to cost him for a potential 3-point play.
And he does convert that one. And now Copper Hills back on top, 23-21. Here in the second quarter, the 4th game of the Falcon Classic. And now Phillips for 3. This one, he'll get it to go.
He actually led Region 9 last year in 3-point field goal percentage. When he squares his shoulders and lets it go, he's a great shooter. It's more when he tries to come off moving side to side that he struggles from the line.
Now here's Reiser. He'll fire. Has no issue with that one right there as it's a deep 2.
Just a pure jump shooter. I mean, he just has such an ability to square his shoulders and get it up. And
Lindquist answers with a contested mid-range jumper as well.
That's the one as a coach you're like, no, yes.
Yes, I've had many of those.
You probably shot a few of those yourself.
I'm losing hair and getting gray hair because of it as ball rolls off of Curtis's foot out of bounds.
Another good defensive possession for Crimson. Again, they're able to get that 1-point lead. Some exchanging here, a little bit of a hockey sub here as they have Murdoch and Hokanson back in the game. Now, Hokanson's uncle, who's named after, he was a great player too, and his cousin played at Snow and has played overseas.
Long line of Hokansons. As he has the reverse layup and gets it to go right on cue.
He comes up with the big-time reverse layup over the other side.
And now Mulford with the runner in the lane, no good. Fine for the rebound, and Reed will collect.
A little bit of a transition opportunity up the ball. I like the idea of getting it up the floor. I don't know what you coach, Trevor, but up the floor with the pass, not the dribble.
Yep. Advance it too. As Phillips gets the offensive rebound, and Coach Alfrey wants a Buco's timeout. And this Copper Hills timeout brought to you by Buco's Premium Tool Sales here on the Rewind Sports Network. We'll keep it right here. I want to get your view of Region 9. As you mentioned, it's stacked.
Yeah, it really is.
And Crimson's picked to finish third in the preseason poll put out by Deseret News, which the coaches vote on.
Right, yeah.
And you've got Pineview 1, Dixie 2. But then you also mentioned Hurricane is a team on the rise this year.
Yeah.
Normally they've kind of been that team bottom feeder of the region.
For years, 3 or 4 years, they were, I think 2 years ago they didn't win a game in the region. But yeah, you said it, they're led by Brigham Kemp. He's averaging about 25 a game, an explosive guard, shifty. He's a great player. Pineview's got some real athleticism with Jelani Ojegba. I think he had 3 follow-up tip dunks last night in their region game against Snow Canyon. And then you have Dixie, who with Coach Tyler Roberts, they've been as good as I can imagine every single year. Of course, they lost to Farmington, but that's a big-time team. They played Timpview last night.
Yeah.
They're nationally ranked. They play big teams, and they have big performances.
Now Herrera, no good on that. And the ball rolls off of, I think it went off of the back of his leg.
And really I think that's only the second turnover of the game for Crimson. And, again, these 8-minute quarters you got to limit your turnovers. Make sure you get shots, not turnovers. Yeah,
I've always said that if, you're able to have around 10 turnovers in a game, you've got a good chance of winning the basketball game.
Yeah, I totally agree.
And some of those have to be dead ball turnovers too. As that goes off the foot, and they're going to say it went off of Reiser. Again, his back was turned to us, so I have no idea.
Yeah, I think they got that one right. I think he's going to be best when they run him off some screens and keep going to that slip screen for the dump down. Get those layups until Crimson gets a little lackadaisical, then he can go to work.
And Curtis battling, by the way, back in after the injury 6 seconds in.
Oh, yeah, there he is. Okay, that's a good sign.
Well, so it is a good sign, and he's scrapping just like he did before he went out.
Yeah, he was holding the base of his neck, so I just wonder if maybe just a little bit of a stinger or something like that. We never want to speculate.
Got to get the massage gun on it.
Yeah, that's what he was just wanting some massage therapy. And on cue, as I say, they've limited their turnovers on almost turnover there, saved by the jump ball. Copper Hill's going to throw a little bit of a 3/4 court trap, and it looks like it's effective so far.
As Lindquist runs into Mulford. Now Phillips for 3. Too strong on that one, and Curtis grabs the rebound, but Lindquist sneaks behind him, tries to poke it away, but Curtis able to keep possession. Here's Reiser.
Little helter-skelter there for a couple possessions.
Now Reiser, he'll go into the paint. Pump fake, stuck. Good defense there by Reed. Now Mulford. Now out to Curtis. He could shoot from 3. Doesn't get that one to go as Lindquist grabs the rebound. He'll control.
And they're yelling for it to go inside. This is their isolation post-up play here. And sometimes
it's taken away by Johnson, but Reiser started running away instead of seeing the loose ball. Lindquist for 3. Gets that one to go. Lindquist is having himself a first half.
A great interior pass by Murdoch. You always love to see unselfish basketball. When guys share the basketball, it usually creates open shots.
Now here's Herrera to Reiser. Mulford, he was looking for that 3-pointer right away. Curtis to Reiser again. This time he'll fire. Now one short, and Murdoch collects.
And you just see how good of a release he has. Crimson so far has done a pretty good job on him, though.
He's made a couple of mid-range jumpers and a three-pointer. As Lindquist with the high hand, keep feeding the high hand. That's back-to-back triples for McKay Lindquist. And Coach Alfrey wants another timeout.
And I believe, by my count, a 10-0 run there.
Yeah, it is. And a lot of them coming from the kid who shares your last name.
Yeah, no relation, of course, but great shots there. And that's the thing. We know this about momentum in basketball. When you get a little bit hot, you get that little heat check shot in there, and that one looked like he just flung it, didn't even pick up the rim until he was releasing it. But, that's the great thing about momentum. I expect Copper Hills to come back in here, get an isolation play of some kind for Reiser, try and get something going to the hoop, quell this run, and get back in the ball game.
So it's an 11-point lead for Crimson Cliffs, and Copper Hills has had their moments. It started out where Copper Hills was like running the floor, and Crimson Cliffs was just getting all their buckets off of offensive rebounds to get to the rim.
Yeah.
Now it's kind of
now it's flipped a little bit. And I expect them. I would be really surprised if we didn't see a scripted play here, something with Reiser either going to the hoop, or maybe they have Mulford run it and Reiser comes off some kind of double screen action. But I think you're going to see them try and go, okay, guys, let's settle down. Let's go to one of our hitters. Let's get an easy basket. Go get a couple stops. Finish off this last 136 and see if we can go into the locker room down 6 or maybe even 5.
And that timeout by Copper Hills brought to you by Buco's Premium Tool Sales.
Oh, you got me wanting to go buy some tools.
Definitely. And we thank them for their sponsorship.
And so notice this. They've got Herrera there, and they're going to run him off a double screen. You love it when you're right, and good look. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better look coming out of a timeout.
Hokinson to Lindquist. Of course he's going to fire, and that looked good from here.
And that was the heat check.
And now he's going inside. That's a smart move.
Yeah, I like the jump stop there. You and I think we're old school. We like the old principle of a jump stop. But these kids love the floater, Trevor.
And a travel there by Talon Harrison. And coming in for Copper Hills is Gage Lintz, the junior, for Herrera, as we hit 61 seconds left in the first half.
Expect to see Crimson get some good quality possessions right here. They're going to work the clock a little bit, protect this lead, get something inside. My guess is to Murdoch for that isolation post up here.
Now here's Lindquist. Inside to Murdoch. Travis, guarded by Logan Batt, tries to take a charge, but Murdoch just finishes through it. And that's Murdoch's first bucket of the quarter. As up and in is number 15, Cameron Wilson.
Great move by Wilson, going to that strong hand, using the glass. You love to see that. Expect Crimson here to get the last possession here with just 20 seconds left.
Shot clock turned off. Hokinson to Murdoch to Lindquist, guarded by Batt. He'll drive in. He'll float it up off the glass and in, and McKay Murdoch continues to have an impressive first half. It's Reiser with 2 seconds in the corner to Batt. Talon Harrison probably shouldn't have passed that last one. It goes in, but they're saying
going to say no good. And I think it was just so close, but I just think the ref had it right on that one, unfortunately, for Copper Hills.
He should have probably fired it a little bit quicker, had a little quick trigger on that. But at the half, Crimson Cliffs, a big second quarter with a 40-27 lead.
14-2 run to finish the second quarter. I mean, if you're head coach at Crimson, you love that. If you're Copper Hills, you're sitting here going, okay, we got to correct a few things and come out and hit them in the mouth in the third quarter.
All right, we'll go ahead and take a break. We'll come back in just a bit with the start of the second half. You're watching the Falcon Classic on KSLSports.com. Welcome back. As we get started here, just wanted to remind you that Copper Hills basketball on the Rewind Sports Network is brought to you by Jiffy Lube. We're here at the Falcon Classic, which is proudly sponsored by Jillian Plew Insurance Group. For the third year in a row, Jillian is a local insurance agent that protects her community with home, auto, and life insurance. We appreciate her continued commitment to our athletes and families. Be sure to show her our gratitude by following her on social media at Jillian Plew on Facebook and Instagram. And also, every high school sports game on KSLSports.com is brought to you by Tab Bank, home of the Tab Spend Rewards checking account with 3.5% annual percentage yield on your account balance and 1% cash back on eligible purchases. It's a big deal. Member FDIC, as Ben, we're about to get going here in the second half. Trevor Allen alongside Ben Lindquist. He's the general manager of the Fan Sports Network, former Oregon Duck, joining us here. But as you know, the Fan Sports Network is a proud partner of KSLSports.com as we team up for coverage across the state. Now, Ben, big half and really a big second quarter for Crimson. Scored 23 points and holding Copper Hills to 12.
Yeah, exploding for a 14-2 run to close out that second quarter. It's always interesting to see as we see Copper Hills will get the ball here in the second half. Can they sustain that, or can Copper Hills go on a quick run and get this into an 8 or 7 point ball game?
Now Isaiah Reiser, who had 9 points in the first half, has the ball now to Curtis on the block, guarded by Reed. Spin, left, blocked by Travis Murdoch, but collected. Here's Talon Harrison for three, and no good. Now Reed gets the rebound. Now here's Lindquist, who had 17 points in that opening half. Goes backdoor to Hokinson on the backdoor.
Well, and a little bit of a reversal as Copper Hills comes out shooting the three, and then Crimson goes down and gets the easy layup. Kind of how Copper Hills started the game tonight.
Now here's Herrera. Reiser. Now to Curtis. He kind of rolled his ankle right there. Kids had a tough go in this one. Now to Harrison. And it's on the ground. Murdoch has it. Now it's loose. And they call a jump ball. Alternating possession will go to Crimson Cliffs.
Big hustle play by Murdoch. He loves to jump on the floor. Sometimes we watch him and he likes to just dive on the floor. But a great hustle there to get the tie up. And Copper Hill's going to come out in a full court press as they've got to do something here to get a little more in this game.
Yeah, they're going to
it looks to be effective so far.
And Herrera takes it away, tries to go backdoor, but read by Murdoch. And now here's Lindquist. He had the hot hand with 10 points in the second quarter. Passes up a shot there. I thought he might want to see if he's still cooking in the second half. Now to Murdoch. On the angle to Hokinson. And a foul.
I'm curious, Trevor, what your thoughts are on the 5 fouls in a quarter and the double bonus automatic. I actually like it.
I do. I like it too.
I think it's good. I think it actually keeps a nice pace to the game. I think it's a big emphasis on great defense as well.
It also, for a while, when it was 7 or 6 fouls, in a half, it seemed like it took a long time to get to that point.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I love the double bonus, actually.
Obviously really physical as Lindquist does pick up where he left off. That one with a pull-up jumper mid-range. But, I like it. I actually think it doesn't really ruin the flow because usually you try to call it both ways.
Great offensive rebound there. Second of the half already. Going to get a reach-in call here on Hokinson.
I believe that's his second.
Yep.
It is.
Good call.
And now Eli Mulford's going to check in as Curtis goes to the bench. You could just tell he's just deflated because he ended up rolling his ankle just tweaked it on one of the first possessions of the half, and he's just like, maybe today's just not my day.
Well, and it's hard when the whole focus of the defense is on you too. Is even for Crimson, they're doing a little trying to keep the ball out of Lindquist's hands. Crimson's trying to do the same thing to Reiser.
Now here's Mulford. And no good there by Cameron Wilson. And now all the way to Murdoch with the layup and in.
And that's beautiful basketball as it only touches the ground once in transition.
And I've always said whenever you're out on the break, always try and go opposite because then you stretch the defense. And that's exactly what they did. As Harrison.
And Reiser going to try and get something going here. Automatic green light wherever he is.
He'll kick out to Mulford in the corner. Now he'll go to Wilson again. No good on that triple. And now he tries to take a charge. And they call the offensive foul on Lindquist.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
that's well, I like to teach, when we were in college, we were a high-powered offensive transition team. We never caught the ball below the foul line, and you always had it with your shoulders square to the biggest part of the court so that you could be catching and turning, not catch and then suddenly spin around and run into a defender like that.
Good job by Wilson finding that awareness. And that one goes up, bucket and the foul as Reiser gets going here.
Going to trim it to, it's going to trim it to 17 with a chance to get to 16, but maybe more importantly, Reiser a chance to see something go through the hoop. And as a shooter, you know this, coaching a lot of them, boy, they can see it go in, and he misses on cue. But if you can see it go in, something just clicks, and it makes it easier.
That was the first bucket of the quarter, and we're nearly halfway through this quarter for Copper Hills. I mean, Crimson Cliffs only has 6 points here in the early going, but a foul on Copper Hills, and that will be on Mulford, his second.
Both teams look a little tired. I mentioned Crimson. This will be game 2 of 4 in a row, and certainly the late start, maybe even at 8 o'clock tonight.
I mean, playing at Cedar City last night and then coming up here today. Some of these other teams are already in the area or came up last night like Dixie.
Yeah, absolutely. And you can see Copper Hills on this one. The assignment now is make sure you're physical with number 24, get him off of his spots. I think that's going to be something you're going to see a lot this year. We saw it early last week in the Logan tournament they played in, where a lot of guys were either denying him the basketball or running a double at him, and that's good. You got to keep moving, and then you find your other guys and make it easy for your teammates.
Now here's Phillips in the corner, no good on that one. Reiser grabs the rebound, and they're off and running. Harrison will now bring it out. Here's Mulford. Off a screen by LaRonda. Eli for 3, gets it to go. Just needs a little bit of space.
It's crazy, the Mulford name, iconic in high school basketball because of the amount of kids and dads and all the stuff. They can just shoot.
And that is a Ken Garf Honda downtown three-pointer for Eli Mulford. And now here's LaRonda, Mulford, Wilson. As Lindquist almost had that block, but good layup there by Cameron Wilson. And now it's a 12-point lead.
It's
for
funny
Crimson
how that
Cliffs.
happens. Crimson clearly trying to slow it down in the second half.
And a good back door, but couldn't finish the bunny right there. LaRonda saves it to Reiser, and now he goes. He's got back on his back. And he gets called for the foul.
A little bit of danger zone right now for Crimson as they had a 20-point lead, cut to 17 pretty quick. And now it's just 12, as you mentioned. Copper Hills gets a bucket here again. They're going to run something. They've got Reiser over here in the corner. They're going to run something with him coming off a screen, some kind of action, maybe a back door here. I think they're going to give him a double screen at some time.
It seems like you're kind of like the Tony Romo of high school basketball broadcasting. You're just predicting plays. Reiser for 3. Got it.
I mean,
that's back-to-back Ken Garf Honda downtown three-pointers for Copper Hills.
And it just looks like Crimson came out in the second half like, hey, we got to protect the lead, as opposed to, hey, let's go out and do the things that got us the lead.
But you play to win the game. As Lindquist off the glass in traffic.
And I think the Crimson staff's over there saying he got hit low, he got hit high, let's call the same. But that's the great thing about high school basketball is there's physical contact. As Reiser getting started again there.
LaRonda couldn't quite collect it, and Murdoch couldn't hold on to it, and goes out of bounds, and it's Copper Hills basketball on the baseline. And Reed will come back in. Hokinson will come out.
Able to push that now. It's to 11 after that 3, but they're going to try to get him again here, Trev.
Mulford, they went under the screen and makes them pay. That's 3 straight triples for Copper Hills.
Oh my goodness. And Coach Murdoch not happy here, as it's now an 8-point game after 19 early in the third quarter. The crowd has even come alive as they've got their JV and sophomore team behind the bench cheering them on.
If you're Coach Murdoch, are you calling a timeout?
I think, look, I don't think coaches use timeouts well enough anyway. I think you got to talk right now about what they're going to do on these screens. Talk through the philosophy of, hey, look, are we going to switch them? Are we going to, hedge high? But you got to do something against those ball screens, as that's where all of these threes are coming from, as Murdoch is able to stop this run and push it back to 10.
That was a great dump down play there from Reed to Murdoch. Now here's Reiser. He'll spin in the lane. Wilson.
Looks like a travel there. They're going to get it. But on those guard-to-guard screens,
he just moved his pivot.
Just dragged that pivot a little bit. On those guard-to-guard screens, you have to have that's got to be a talk in the locker room. That's got to be a talk on the floor. If your guy's setting the screen, you got to tell them what you're doing. Both of those threes came off of confusion of who had who on the screen.
Now here's Reed as they bring on a full-court press. They've got three in the backcourt. Lindquist's little spin move in the air as he passes it. Now here's Cottom, who's come in and off the bench to provide some energy with offensive rebounds. And now taken away by Herrera. Just Lindquist with him. And he fouls him as Herrera gets to the hoop, bucket and the foul.
And I think this is, you asked about a timeout. With a minute 24, I think you just call one and say, guys, take a drink, catch your breath. This pace, I think, plays more into Copper Hills' hands. But just catch your breath. Here's what we're doing on screens. Let's make sure we don't give them any offensive rebounds and settle in. But right now, Copper Hills has caught fire and is the aggressor so far in the third quarter.
It took them over 3 minutes to score a bucket in the third quarter. They're now within 8 points.
Yeah, they've been kind of shot out of a cannon here the last 4 minutes.
Due to three three-pointers from Reiser and Mulford.
See, and I like, if you're being denied the ball like Lindquist is right now, go be the screener, right?
That a decoy, if you will.
Yeah. Well, go set your guys up because you know your guy's not going to leave you, so he can't help on the screen action. And this is where, we talked about the foul shots. This is what I love about it is, with a minute left, if they had 4 and 5 fouls, you'd just see hacks and you'd see some lazy defense. But now the aggressive team wins because whoever gets a foul next, they're going to the foul line for 2 shots.
Yeah. I've always never really been a fan of the 1-and-1 anyway. Lindquist, he got space on that one, couldn't get it to go. And Gage Lentz, who's in the ball game, brings it up. Lindquist takes it away. 2-on-1 to Murdoch. He'll put it up. He's fouled, but a little strong on that layup. And he wished he had that one back.
Yeah, and almost a great chance for a give and go, too. But Murdoch's solid from the three-point line. Expect him to knock down both of these. And I like this substitution right here. 44 seconds. You're probably going to sub Lindquist out. He looks exhausted. He's had to, try and evade those face guards. Give him a sit, maybe get him actually 2 to 3 minutes of real-time sit-down. And great knockdown there by Murdoch, 51-42. And if Copper Hills, if they can get a 3 or a 2 here and get this 8 into the fourth quarter, that's a great position.
Yeah, it is. Because it was not looking good after being outscored 23-12 in that second quarter, led by Lindquist.
And I like this substitution here. Big Al had a great game last night at Cedar last night, 8 points in that game. He's a big body, young guy. Give Murdoch a breather. But this is where you got to be smart with Reiser.
Now Reiser, he'll pull up for 3. Too strong on that one, but Herrera grabs the offensive rebound. Now they go to Mulford, and the shot clock's turned off. So they'll hold for the last shot. Now he'll hold down to 8.
That's that screen I'm talking about. You got to talk on this.
Now Reiser step back 3. Looks good. Off the front of the rim. And Ogden gets the rebound. And that's the end of the third quarter. So with 8 minutes to go, we've got a ball game here, Ben.
We've got a ball game, absolutely. And I think what will be interesting in this fourth quarter is, did Copper Hills use up too much energy in that furious rally? as the game started to slip away? Or will Crimson play it too conservative? Or will Copper Hills fade late in this fourth quarter? I think that's going to be the storyline here, is which team can impose their will consistently for the fourth quarter.
So if you're Coach Murdoch, what is your message going into this quarter as he's sitting down to the bench, and then obviously Coach Brian Alfrey as well?
I think it's a lot of, okay, guys, on those guard-to-guard ball screens, it's got to be a hard switch. On the guard-to-big ball screen, it's got to be a hedge high, and you've got to stay connected so that you can get back to the shooter. On defense, that's on defense. On offense, it's going to be, let's move the ball, but we don't want to slow it down to the point that we're getting late in the shot clock and just forcing up shots or putting ourselves in a tough spot. They've got to maintain that aggressiveness here in the fourth quarter, because sometimes they'll get to the spot where they got a 10 or 12-point lead, and they kind of lean off the brake a little bit. I think you keep playing your style of basketball and just make sure that you're shooting A's and B pluses, worst case scenario.
And then obviously Copper Hills was able to come back and have a really good quarter. What are you telling this squad?
Yeah, absolutely. I think you're going to want to get Mulford another 3 or so, and then you got to be able to keep rebounding offensively. They did a great job. They gave themselves some second chance opportunities, but Reiser, he's just a guy, and great shooters do this. They can be stuck at 11 or 12 points, and then they just catch fire, and suddenly as they run them off a double screen, just like that. Oh, and sometimes it's also just not your night, as he's had good looks off some of this double action they've run for him, but still, a guy like that, he can hit 2 or 3 in a row without even blinking.
Murdoch back in the ball game. Lindquist, now he goes to the scorer's table, as I was just about to mention that he's on the bench. Now back for 3. No good. Reiser on the board.
See, and I like just go inside. You have a little bit of a size and skill advantage with Britton and Murdoch. As Reiser, another shot here. Boy, and I don't know, legs maybe. The shot looks just a little forced, and sometimes that happens when you're not knocking them down. They last
played on Monday against West Jordan. They weren't just coming in today from a long bus ride.
Yeah, that's fair.
From St. George.
That's fair. That is the thing, though. A guy is expected to do a lot. The ball's in his hands for the majority of the game. He has to shoot 20 to 22 shots a game for this Copper Hills team.
And Reiser comes out of the ball game, which you don't really see very often. Lindquist guarded by Harrison. Now they go to Murdoch on the block, guarded by Curtis. There's a handoff, and Phillips nearly had it, but now there's a foul.
Okay. Yeah, they're going to get him on the shove there.
And they're going to call that.
See, this is what I love, that early foul in the fourth quarter. Just a basketball guy, he's watching going, okay, are they going to continue to be aggressive and see if they can get him to 3 fouls with about 5 minutes to go? Because then the pressure's on the other team.
Had a guy there on that screen. Now he goes into the paint on the other end and gets it to go this time.
And I think they have an advantage inside, especially with Britton Phillips with his height and athleticism.
Mulford answers with a triple. That's his third of the half.
Yeah.
Yep. And that's a Ken Garf Honda downtown three-pointer.
And really from downtown, but as a coach, that's got to just so frustrating because you got to stop basketball. That's rule number 1.
Well, and also you can already identify the shooters. As a coach, you tell them, you've got to identify the shooters, but don't give them open looks, because then they get comfortable, and then when they bang 1, 2, 3, and then they're still open, that has to drive a coach nuts.
He's made 3 now. In his mind as a shooter, he's going, okay, if I get just an inch, I'm letting it fly.
Yeah. Well, and he's also, type of shooter where he could go 0 for 7 and still think, I'm going to hit the 8th one.
Yeah, and I think Reiser's the same way.
Yeah.
That's the thing with those types of guys. They don't remember the last make or the last miss ever.
Yeah. Which you love to have those type of players on your team. As Mulford goes into the paint. Now Herrera kicks it back out to Mulford. He'll set for 3. In and out on that one. And a battle for a rebound, loose ball.
Good box out, actually, there. And LaRonda, a big body there. He just tried to jump up and just got caught.
Someone who I've noticed hasn't really been in the game that much in this second half is Logan Batt for Copper Hills. He's a star wide receiver for Copper Hills, a physical guy. And he hasn't really been used in this second half by Coach Alfrey.
And sometimes you just like to mix it up and maybe you throw him in there, see if he can create something defensively.
Now a three. We're back, no good. Herrera, 2-on-1. Now they make it 2-on-2. Mulford, he'll go into the paint, lay it up and in. Bucket and the foul. Whistle came in maybe a skosh late, but Eli Mulford's going to go to the foul line for a chance of the three-point play.
And a chance for 12 in the second half here. 3 out the actual three-point line as Reiser comes back in, and another from the and one opportunity here.
Well, you knew Reiser wasn't going to sit that long.
Yeah, and look, I think he's probably saying, hey, catch your breath, take a drink. We're going to put you in at 5.5. We need you to make 12 points the rest of the way. Get us back in the game, son.
And now it's a 6-point lead.
And
again, what was nearly a 20-point lead.
Yeah, 19, and now Crimson is going to go to this kind of this weave offense.
Hokanson to Reed.
And you can see the face guard on Lindquist there, creates opportunities.
Dumped down and a block by Johnson, but they're going to say a foul. Maybe it might have been with the body. I don't know.
Told you, the free throw, he's the foul merchant, like SGA. He just makes you, somehow you do things you don't want to do.
Does he have conversations with officials before the game or something?
Well, if he does, and I know the opposing coaches do, like, hey, look, like, we're not trying to foul him. But he's good with his low body, and he can kind of put you in a compromising position. Yeah, for a big guy, not bad.
He hits the first free throw. I have him down for 6 points in that third quarter.
Yeah, and this will be important to watch is can Crimson continue to make these timely baskets when Copper Hills gets a little bit of momentum?
Well, and you're also saying that they have a hard time at the foul line, and so far they've been doing pretty well at the charity stripe.
Yeah, I don't know if they've had to put in some extra work, but again, I said up at Ridgeline they missed 11 free throws in a 3-point ball game.
Reiser. He'll fade back and gets that easy bucket to go.
I think this is what you can see there is they're spreading him out, and they're just going to let him create a little bit.
Now back to a 6-point lead. 2-possession game as we near the halfway point of the fourth quarter. Murdoch to Reed. Back out to Murdoch. Now to Lindquist. Guarded by Harrison again. He's going to drive. He'll put it up in traffic. He's fouled and nearly got the bucket. But Lindquist is going to go to the foul line.
Important free throws here, 6-point ball game, just under 5 in the fourth quarter. Can he knock these down, put it to 8? But you see the contact and the focus on him. Again, I like the idea of using him as a screen guy and make him decoy a little bit as he misses the front end. No, you can't miss free throws. They're free, Trevor. It's a gift.
Something I want to ask you,
because
it just occurred to me, he has different color shoes. What are your thoughts on the kicks?
I've never understood. I love a good pair of shoes, Kobe's. I love, Jordan. But I don't understand why you ever want two shoes to look different. That's how they come out of the box. Like, those aren't grabbing.
I know. Grabbing a bunch of spray paint for one of them.
I've never understood the mismatch. I think that's like, how can we sell more shoes,
I mean, he's not the only one. I know Reed is wearing, the same kicks, but.
I don't know about you, but back in the day in high school, I had 2 pair of shoes the whole season.
Yeah, I had one.
Now college, it was a little bit better at Oregon.
Yeah.
Oregon,
good grief.
You got a couple different pairs every week that you got to choose from. Now it's crazy. They switch them every game.
Yeah. Oh, the life of Phil Knight.
Yeah, Uncle Phil is what we call him.
Uncle Phil. As Mulford shoots a 3, couldn't get it to go, and Lindquist comes away with it. Great pass to Reed, and he'll lay it up with the left hand.
And you love to see a scorer make the right basketball play, right? You got to get cooking. You think, well, I'm going to go all the way. Make the easy play for your teammates, especially when there's so much focus on you. As Reiser gets a turnover here.
Yeah, Murdoch with the takeaway. As we're under 4 minutes to go here. Still anyone's game as Hokanson fires at the foul line, can't get it to go. Now here's Wilson to Johnson off the glass and in. The bucket and the foul. That was I don't know. Again, there's a reason why I don't officiate.
I mean, momentum is so funny. We talked about this a couple of times in the first half, but, a little bit of a rush jumper there when they were getting the ball inside easy for layups, and then it comes down and you just get out of position a little bit as Murdoch only picks up his first, but chance for the three-point play a little bit long here. But 7-point ball game. I like the idea of not just slowing it down, but just making sure you're getting good looks. That should be the focus.
Now Lindquist loses the ball right in front of him, and now Mulford has it. Good pass, backdoor to Joe Herrera. It's kind of a no-look pass there by Eli Mulford.
Had quite a second half there, 14 now, just in the second half. And suddenly it's a ball game, 5-point ball game here. See, this is what I'm saying right here. It's really hard when you just dribbling around like that. They get lucky here because they get the trap and he finds him, but it's really hard to get momentum and good easy baskets when you're just one-on-one from the top.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep it here as Copper Hills basketball on the Rewind Sports Network is brought to you by Jiffy Lube. And this is a Buco's premium tool sales timeout for Copper Hills. It's actually Crimson calling the timeout, but Copper Hills in the huddles. Now, as you look at it, are you telling them to kind of slow it up if you're Crimson Cliffs, and then for Copper Hills, we got to keep pressuring the ball?
I'm kind of different too on the shot clock. Like not at the end of the actual fourth quarter, but first, second, and third. You know, I was always taught growing up that you get the last shot. I think it's all about shot quality. You want to make sure that you're getting A's and B's. If you get a good shot, if you get a nice guy on your hip and you can finish at the hoop and it's not the end of the shot clock, who cares? Take the layup. And I think that's the same philosophy here for the fourth quarter is you can't just dribble the ball around here the rest of the fourth quarter. Go and try and attack, but don't force shots. And then if you're Copper Hills, you're sitting there saying, hey, look, we were down 20. Now it's just a 7-point ball game. We get a couple of shots here. Let's get a couple of stops. Let's put pressure on these guys and make them make some shots down the end of the game from the foul line or down low or maybe a forced three here there and see if you can get this thing down to, I don't know, like 3 or 4 with about a minute 45 left.
And now coming out of the timeout, it'll be Copper Hills basketball. Following a bucket by Crimson Cliffs, and they have a 7-point lead, just under 3 to go.
Crimson a little full court pickup there, and if I was Crimson, I would think about do we throw a little bit of a zone at them, maybe a trap?
Well, they end up getting a switch, and it looks like they're switching everything. Mulford, he'll step in for a jumper. And they're going to say a flop warning on Eli Mulford, but they're not blowing the play dead.
Really?
Yeah, because the one ref on the far side was going like this, but didn't blow his whistle. Which is odd because I thought you're supposed to wait till the play's over, then blow your whistle. But that didn't happen.
Yeah, I didn't even catch that. I was watching the guy down the floor here.
He was running past the scores table and was going like
saying,
this.
Hey, flop, yeah. And see, again, okay.
Yeah, and so right now they're actually telling the table on 12 a flop warning on this side.
Good eyes. The veteran, Trevor.
Hey, because I have you here, I don't have to watch the ball all the time.
Happy to help on a Thursday night as Will Hokinson goes to the foul line here. And this is what we talked about. Can you get him in foul trouble so that you're shooting 2 the rest of the way here? And just short there. But this is the thing about getting the 2 is, you know, if you're the defensive coach, you're like, man, I wish it was one-on-one. But if you're the offensive team, you're like, okay, you got to feel for it. A little bit short. You got to expect this one to most likely go in.
And that one does.
And see, again, this is where if I'm Crimson, I'm like, okay, let's throw a couple junk defenses at them. Keep them off balance. Maybe pick them up full court and not necessarily trap, but just take some time off the clock.
And now they're going under screens for Reiser. I'm kind of blown away by that as Reiser, that one just rolls out. It hits every part of the rim, but it doesn't drop as Murdoch goes one-on-one with Mulford. Big man against a sophomore guard, and he pulls it out.
And I would just make sure you have double bonus. Everything has got to be hard. And there
you got to. I mean, that to me is actually a good foul because
probably had a layup.
Yeah, probably a layup, and now you're going to make him earn it at the foul line. But also, I don't understand how he ends up on him.
Exactly.
That's my whole thing.
Murdoch most likely going to win that one. as Mulford picks up his third, but maybe more importantly, a free trip to the line. Looked a little short, but the 5-2 disparity right now certainly helping Crimson as they can be the aggressor the rest of the way. And again, this is where I just tell them, look, catch it with two hands. It's kind of like when you're under a minute with the ball. The only thing that can hurt you is a fumble in football. You're catching that, you're holding it with two hands on the run. This time, same thing. Make sure that you get fouled, you don't lose it.